Hey, this is Tiger again for the next part of our open workshop at Saturday morning with approximately almost 40 degrees outside. And what is better on a day like this than sit inside and try to cool yourself down with running some cool trains, especially in winter. So, what I wanted to do is to play more scenarios that come with Just Trains, brand new West Coast Mainline Crewe Preston DLC. Welcome back, AJ, thank you. And you've already played 2 of them, I guess. Not the journey mode, choose the route. And the scenarios, 5 there are, all quite long. The merry-go-round we played in last week's Saturday morning workshop. The Thunderbirds Are Go we played in the sneak peek stream, and now I think I want to play the Deep Coal, happening in winter, so probably hot enough to run on a diesel locomotive pulling around the coal. Hard work to do, sweaty work to do. But maybe the sight of all the snow and ice around us will cool us down a bit from this hottest day in the history of, whatever. Probably not the world, but since somebody is actually measuring the heat. Deep coal, and here we're sitting. The cold weather means that households need more coal. Deliver this rake of HEAs to Dovetail Household Coal Concentration Yard. Wait for the signal to change and then proceed through Preston and onto the former Longbridge branch. Alright, let's see how we are with our locomotive. It is insulated, but the change end lever is already in the correct position. And now we should have the safety systems on. We have already the marker lights on. We have the reverser into forward. The master key is already on. Desk light is on. Throttle is off. Loco brake is off. The brake is still in full service. Maybe we can already try to fill the brake pipe and release the brakes a bit so that we don't take forever. And maybe it's enough to hold the train in place with initial application. And with straight brake alone, there is a 101 diesel multiple unit coming in. Evan Vore, nice to see you. Nice surprise to see your wings on the Raccoon. I love those 101 diesel multiple units. They are one of the hardest trains to drive in the game, especially with the vacuum brakes. On the shifting and stuff. But they are beautiful, they sound beautiful, they're just satisfying to drive. Even if it is not so satisfying if you're always overshooting or stopping short of the platform, because those vacuum brakes are so tricky to handle. We still have a red light. Did I forget something? My headlight is on, yes. Also looks good from the outside. Maybe we need some wipers. First time we actually use the wipers. Now we've got to proceed. Apply power to start moving. We're still held with a locomotive brake. Let's see how this works, whether we need some sand to get this train into motion. No, it's just good. Oops. Just wanted to have a look where we are. This is where we're coming from. And we're going towards Preston. First time that we actually took this little roundabout 30 we have for a limit. Don't we have anything at the back end? No. We have the more modern kind of coal hoppers, not the old HAAs, but The ones that can run actually a bit faster when they are empty. And from what it seems, we are just about to merge with the main line at this junction here. And it is 3:30 in the afternoon. That means it's probably getting darker still. We are about to branch off here again, as it seems, across a 15 miles switch. Maybe going through to the slow line or something like this. Rolling downhill. This is the part where we come in from Ormskirk also, right? Yeah, this I think is the line to Ormskirk. And here we came from the opposite side. Let's see if we just run into... It was an approach control signal. No need to try to get the train stopped in front of the red, but nevertheless you never know whether it will switch. And here's probably then our 15 miles switch to take us into a siding. Now I'm a bit too fast for the siding. How heavy are we? 1,000 tons. Well, you can see the dying sun on Preston. Can accelerate a bit more. Hello, good thing you're driving in winter. Feels a bit colder here from watching. Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm doing my best to cool all of us down a bit. How is it going on? We're back to 15 and then it looks like we're crossing through a lot of lines. Those peaks are typically when we're crossing through a switch, and then for a short period we're on the main line. It looks like we're crossing through all the main lines and then going into a siding on the other side. So maybe not a good thing to accelerate way beyond. The 15 with our heavy coal train, right? You don't have a scenario text for on screen today? Oh, no, I did not prepare one, but I can write one quickly. It's deep coal, and the theater indicator tells us that we're going to up fast, actually. Is that so? What are we doing on up fast? Brakes always takes forever to release. Overcharging can accelerate the process a bit. Maybe when we get to a standstill I can put in the deep coal scenario marker. What is the mile per hour gauge in the left frame of the window actually for? That is the slow speed control. I think you're talking about this one here, right? When you're loading coal or unloading coal automatically on a tipple, and you typically have to go on a constant speed of 2 miles per hour or even 0.5 miles per hour. And on some locomotives like this one, you have a slow speed control like this one. And for speeds of that kind, your typical speedometer is just not precise enough to see whether you are going exactly 3 miles or something. And this is what this additional speedometer is for. Yeah, you have the fine control. You can set it from 0 to no, I can't do it if it is not active, to 3 miles in increments of half a mile. So this is what we have been doing on up fast, standing in the way of other trains. And as I said, we crossed through all the lines from the left to the right, and now we're going into the branch line that is going off here. You can see. And apparently there is a level crossing. The Skeffington level crossing. The snow looks so smooth, perfect for making snow angels, yes. The snow looks always perfect in Train Sim World. We just want to lay down in all this fluffy mess. The AI. Those guys here are always working on their rails, be it winter, rain or thunderstorm. Preston Station looks so nice in the Just Trains implementation. I always wonder how they make it that the color palette fits so perfectly, and the lighting also. It's just a cozy experience. Ah, thanks, yeah. Happy that it helped. We have a video about the merry-go-round scenario where we use the slow speed control on the Class 20. It works a bit differently, but it also has a special speedometer for those slow speeds. So now we're going out on the opposite side. St. Walburge. This you know from the Blackpool branches DLC and also from the Preston to Carlisle DLC. You're going left of St. Walburge, you're going towards Blackpool. If you're going to the right, you're going towards Lancaster and then later Carlisle. And we're doing neither, we're branching off. Snowball fight, yes. That would be really great for a snowball fight. So I wonder where the drop to 10 miles comes. Already here. As soon as we are branching off to the right, we're down to 10 miles. Let's see if we can just let it drop. Or whether we need to brake. Oh no, it's okay. Here's the indicator. 10 to the right, and we're going to the right. So you can see it from the points and their alignment. The electric locomotive with a whirring sound, woo, as compared to our diesel sound. Must keep careful with the externals, not that I crash the game again. Some of the ini tweaks that I'm using make the game more prone to crash, I'm afraid. And as much as I like moving those heavy trains with very slow speeds through the more obscure sidings on the map, it is always annoying if you invest like 20 minutes for that and then you have to do it again. But just look at the texture of those bricks in combination with the light from the headlights. This just looks extremely realistic, well made, and at the same time cozy. Also, the tunnel entrance is not looming like a big bright spot, but coming in nicely. The wooden beams now. Funny how the snow stuck to the foliage that is coming and growing at the walls. The fog here in the tunnel sometimes looks a bit like it's coming out of pipes or hoses. It looks a bit weird, but the tunnel interior apart from that, really nice. Probably don't need a wiper here in the tunnel, but if it is snowing or raining outside and we're switching off the wiper in the tunnel, then the game will dock us for driving without wipers in the rain, I'm quite sure. Just imagine this, doing this for a living. Driving a train with 10 miles per hour through a tunnel for a mile or more. Yes, we're outside again. So, we're out of the tunnel. Let's check if our switches are set correctly so that we don't derail. It looks good. And we're still in a 10 limit, no? So we have to crawl all our way. The problem will be that we actually have to drive out of this siding again. Because where are we supposed to go from here? Maybe here? Dovetail coal concentration depot. Yes, this is probably where we have to reverse into then. Otherwise there is no point in going all the way back there. You mean we have to unload coal at lightning speed again? I don't think so. I think we just put the cars in the siding and leave the rest to somebody else. But we will see. I've never been to this coal concentration yard over there. At least I don't remember. It's the level crossing that they were talking about, huh? Hope I did not miss a whistleboard while I was looking at the train from the outside. Now we're getting wheel slips, you can see. Get the power back a bit. Here this light here goes on and we're getting wheel slips. Then either or both we need to take back the power, and if we still need the power to go on, I mean you would have to use the sand. Yeah. Level crossing is secured. Those gates. So no whistling on our part is required. And we're going into the shunting neck. You'll need to propel the wagons to the yard. Take it slowly, especially over the point work. Not the paint work, but the point work. So again, let's prepare for releasing the brakes and let the local brakes hold it. On the other hand, if I have to leave the train and walk back, maybe I have a provision in the operating rules that it is enough to do it like this. Local brake, initial application, and reverser to engine only, and then we walk backwards along our train and throw the switch by hand. Here's the level crossing. Unfortunately, anyone who wants to cross this level crossing has to wait for a significant amount of time. Here, this is the switch that we came in, and we have to turn it that we can go straight. Alright, points are aligned the way they need to be. Always make sure that we got the lever all the way so that the switch does not change direction while we are on it, and that the snow is out of all the locks and stuff so that the points are aligned properly. Otherwise you can create a lot of damage. And it is still a thing in real life too, that switches can switch underneath the train, and that can cause the greatest of derailments. Look how those plants look in the snow, that's actually nice. Don't know how much of them would be there in winter in real life. I like the look and feel of it a lot, to be honest. So, back on our locomotive. Set the reverser to reverse. Set the driver's brake to running. And then apply power to start. And, well, reversing a train like this with nobody on the leading end, I still don't know if this is a thing that you could do in the days. I'd strongly advise that Hank has to sit at the back with a whistle and maybe a radio, so that he can tell us where we are heading. Let's check if the other switches are aligned properly. It looks. Oh no, it also has an unloader. We have to do it, and we have to use the slow speed control then probably. Is our speed? No, we're sticking with the 10. It's not getting slower. So just imagine you're Hank, and you're hanging to this ladder with a whistle in your mouth, and you can whistle your friend Joe here driving the engine. whether to slow down, apply the brakes or whatever when reversing this train. Just save it for security reasons so we don't have to do the whole thing again. Our job is to make sure that we're not going too fast. Reversing on level crossings is always a good thing to do. You can hear how the brakes apply. But these are secured by gates, that is good. But it's nice that you can actually hear how long it takes for the brakes to apply at the rear end after you initiated it at the front end. Like, I put them to initial reaction and now we are back at the rear end and you don't hear anything yet. Now they are coming, now they are coming. And with a certain delay you can hear the brakes apply at the rear end. So when we're stopping our thing, then it is probably the rear end that needs to stop here, not the front end. That makes us calculate how long are we, 131 yards. It looks like we have to stop on this bottleneck so that we can still decide whether we're going to the left or to the right into this thing that looks a bit like those installations that you use for ski jumping. Well, I guess it is an installation for handling of coal. There's actually someone standing on the gantry, checking out whether we are doing things properly. Proceed through the unloader using the slow speed controls to control your speed. So this is the unloader here. And the gantry, they have only one unloader, unlike the ferry fryers power plant that has 3 of the unloaders in a row. And we are reversing, getting the train obviously here in this siding and unloading at this point. And let's turn on the cabin lights so that we see our stuff. We need to put the reverser into engine only. And then we use the slow speed control. It can only switch on and off when we have the reverser in engine only. And then we can set the speed control selector. Ooh, this is weird. 1.5 miles here, and then we can use the speed clock here to see whether we're sticking to the speed, and the train should actually control the 1.5 automatically. We just apply a bit of power, release the brakes first, obviously. Scenario is not telling us that. So it will take a bit until the train moves. And now we can see on this speedometer how the needle climbs to 1.5. Are we shunting uphill here? No, can't see it. And regardless whether we apply full throttle or whatever, the system controls it automatically. How fast they want us to go. It's supposed to go up to 150. Don't know what the correct setting for the throttle actually is on this train to work with the slow speed control. The class 20 has a special setting for it. Now you can see the coal rushing through. From each and every hopper bush. Raining very fast here. Look from the gantry. This takes not that much time as it took at the power plant. By now we have reached the 1.5. And imagine a drive-by now. Well, lucky we are not that long. We're going 3 times as fast as we went last time. Hank is taking care of the rear end. See, and we're already done. Now we're going to the end of the siding. We could increase the speed on the fly to go a bit faster. I don't know if we are allowed to do this. What we also could do, we could turn the slow speed control off on the fly. I'm not sure whether we are allowed to do this. ZD radar reached a 40 stream streak. That is bombastic, my friend. Can light up this guy's behind a bit. And Hank will tell us when to stop. I actually thought of that CD radar, whether I should do it without warning you. But to be honest, I don't really know how this works with this streak. Uncouple the brake before shunting across the set of empty wagons of the adjacent line. You will be returning. Alright. So we are apparently we're uncoupling what we have here. Full service is already applied. And then we're taking the other rake of cars with us. Set the handbrake on the cars to applied. Where do those cars have their handbrake again? Probably the wrong side. It wants the other side. And now we can uncouple. And CD Radar says hello. Yeah, well, those unannounced stream up typically only happening on Saturday mornings as far as we are at the moment. So, even though the scenario does not tell you, I always like to turn on the left tail light when we are moving the locomotive as a single locomotive. Low speed control to 0. Are we in engine only? Yes. Interesting. Usually you have to move your mouse in the direction that this slider shows you, but here you have to move your mouse in the direction that this turning wheel tells you. Low speed control off. Set the reverser to forward. And the driver's brake to running, obviously. Also the loco brake if you applied it. And we have to set the route. Cannot one of you guys do that? They're just standing around and leave all the work to me. Can't even fit through there. So is it that one? No, obviously not. Because we need... it go aligned to the right so that we can pick up those cars. Oops, there is a fence. No offense, but I can't go through the fence. Not so far. Reverse. Okay, Hank. You're sitting in the rear cab. Can hardly see my rake of cars that we have to attach to. What is bad if you're running too fast in it? Good thing we have Hank on the rear cab. Press against. And then Hank can do the coupling. Set the handbrake to release, and you're on the wrong side. Handbrake is probably that one on this side. No, this time they want the other one. It was already released here. No, they applied that one. Okay, Hank, now that you're at it, you can set the route for us again. Well, which route is it? The route to the left. Alright. There was the other switch, because we came on from the other side. Oh, Hank cannot reach that far. Hank! You have to get to the more unleashed version of you. So, and come back in the cab. So, we got Hank. We got the switches set. We can go forward, set the driver's brake to running. Wait a bit for the brakes to release. Oh, thank you for banning. And now we'll probably have to turn around again, just save the progress so that we don't have to do it again in case we crash. And most probably... we have to stop here already. Because now, obviously, if we want to actually pull this train backwards, we would have to get the locomotive on the other end. Otherwise we would have to reverse all the way back to Preston. And that's not nice. No idea whether the scenario goes on that long, but we will see. The stopping position here in this part of the track where we have the possibility to run around the loco to the other end indicates that we might have to do the way back to Preston too. That means uncoupling, running the loco to the other end, pushing the cars. Oh, there's actually someone arrived here who wants to cross. Then push the cars into the shunting neck, and then we can go loco first back to Preston. Yes, run the loco around the wagons here and then propel them back onto the Long Ridge branch. Looks like we have to do it. Uncouple the 10 vehicles. And this in the dark. Set the route for the occupied line. Oh, we have to walk all the way over to the switch. Last time we went straight over this switch, so we will have to turn it around. At least the snow looks nice, doesn't it, when we walk over it? Yes. The other switch. Do we need it? No, it is already straight. Perfect. Well, let's jog back. Oh no, we went too fast. Change ends, turn the headlight and mark lights. Okay, now we have to actually not reverse, but change the ends. Taillights to the left. Reverse it to off. The brakes to shut down. Means into emergency. Look how this light actually gets reflected by the cast iron part. Don't forget the local brake, otherwise they won't let you go. AJ, you have to call for the master key. And also not forget to make sure that this thing does not stop us on the way. And the cab lights. Where is the switch for the cab lights? Don't know at the moment. At any rate, we can do it with the keyboard's shorts. And we have to switch our switch again. The master key. Master key. Initial application. Taillights to off. Set the reverse at the forward. And get this old thingy back to the other side. So we still have brakes applied. Where do they come from? No, they are just leaving. They're only a locomotive. Why does it take so long for the brake cylinders to clear? So now we're passing by our whole train, our new train with the empty hoppers. Now I got docked for being too fast. What we don't have on this end is wipers. And even though the train is only so short, we have to obviously run around. This guy has to wait forever. No, he's actually watching what we are doing here. Brought this steeple to stand on it and watch us. Best time and weather for train spotting, I guess. I missed my stopping point. Stop as indicated. Where am I supposed to stop now? I should have stopped there and then there. Alright. First tank has to set the switch. Okay, we can go there properly. You guys could have set the switch, couldn't you? Standing around here in the snow, but not setting the switch. So set the route for the occupied line. We will be going on driving from this cap here, so we will just stay on that one. I can't pass here, can I now? Oh yeah, I can now. Switch back so that we can actually go back and reverse onto our train. Since we don't see that much, Hank has to be in the rear cab and tell us how far away we are. Otherwise at night, this is really annoying. Reverse. So let's give this guy something to see and watch. We're coupling right in front of his eyes. He's still there, isn't he? Yeah, on his steeple. We can turn off the light here and probably also the wipers on this end here. Don't need them anymore. Put it in park. Put it in off. And then we have to trudge along all the train to put the switch back into the proper position. And Hank can trudge with us because he will have to stay at the rear end of the train anyway when we are pushing it into the shunting loop or the shunting neck. Here, that's Hank's footrest. Stand on steps, this is what he has to do. So let's now at least switch the switch for him. There's actually a thing about automatic switches in yards, isn't there? Alright, switches set properly. We can jog back to our train. Hank stays here. And we're back into our cab. Let's get Hank where he needs to be. Standing on this foot plate. Hank cam. Reverse. Loco. See that we don't get any wheel slips. Hank says his part of his end of the train is moving. Look how this shadow of this guy travels along at the wall. Switches we aligned properly. Now by going into the neck. It's actually well done, says AJ Big. Yeah, I should say so as well. I think that is a bit longish for many players. A bit slow and a bit complicated, but I really love it. Hank, all good at the back. Yes. It's 40 yards. It is so dark because there are no rear lights on the cars, right? Change direction one last time before taking the cars as far as Preston, where your relief is waiting. Right, we're here at the end. Typically we should have a tail lamp now. If we're not getting it automatically, we can put it there manually, so Hank should probably have put it there before we reversed. Now that we are going straight back to Preston, he should leave it here at any rate when he's now coming back to the cab, and since he's out, he needs to have the longer tether of the camera 8. He obviously has to set this switch now, so that we can go back to Preston. Alright, I just wondered why I was supposed to change ends, because we're actually in the correct end already. This is why we reversed this train, right? Typically you don't sit in a cab that is on the side that is connected to the cars. In this instance you would reverse it and have someone at the end like we had. Hank. Fill the brake pipe. Take Hank on board. Plop. There he is. Just imagine him sitting down in the second man seat. And then get the brakes released. They take sometimes a lot of overcharging to release. And now we leave this coal concentration facility on its own and heading back to Preston. And now at any rate we should have a taillight. They took our taillight again, unfortunately, even though Hank put one there. But the script bereft us of a taillight. Ah no, here it is. For some reason I just didn't see it. Well, you cannot see it here, right? Here you can. That is a bit weird. That switch is still set correctly. No taillight on camera 3, camera 8. But we have a taillight on camera. Oh, you can only see it up to a certain distance. Well, that is a weird bug. Oh, much too fast. In the tunnel. We have tunnel vision. Yes. Actually, in the tunnel we have better vision than outside, haven't we? So easy to have the train slip beyond the 10 miles. It's also interesting to see how long it takes for the brake to release. And now to pick up on your pun, HE, we can see light at the end of the tunnel. And we only have 0.7 miles to go back to Preston. What is nonetheless quite a bit if we can't go faster than 10 miles. But then we will be at Preston Station and be good with our scenario. I'm quite confident. Now there's this part with the wooden beams. After that, one more part of the tunnel. After that, a bit industrial estate. Then St. Warburg, and then we're back into Preston Station. Yawning, yes. I was really yawning. Hank is already fallen asleep. Over there. Can hardly see him. I went into the engine room to lay down a bit. If we need him, we can test the fire alarm and wake him up. So that's it. That's it for the tunnel, and we end the stream still without scenario text. Yeah, that is true. I forgot. Because of the scenario text, my train almost stalled. But I had to wake Hank and get him out of the engine room. Here's his scenario text. So in case anyone wonders what this was, now we can see and play it for yourself. Now we're almost back on the main track. You can see our home signal, and it sends us to track 5. As long as the cars are across the switch, we can accelerate slightly to 15. This one is way too slow for me to play it. This is AJ. Well, you can get a good feel for handling, accelerating, braking your train in those slow speed scenarios. $15 seems so much faster than 10, right? Probably can also accelerate to 25 or even 35 now, but since we have to stop very soon anyway. Well, it never fails to impress me, the lighting here in Preston Station. Careful, we will get a burp. It's home time for you. Another driver will be taking this forward for filling. How nice, we don't have to do the filling again. And that's it, our scenario. With a lot of coupling, with a lot of slow driving, in the dark, switching, but it's a very atmospheric scenario with a lot of ambience, and it gave us the opportunity to bring back Hank. And so we have played the 3rd out of 5 scenarios. Maybe we'll play the remaining 2 also in a format like this. Thank you for joining me in this episode of my open workshop on Saturday morning. And have the greatest of weeks. Bye bye next time.